I talked a little bit about confidence, and I want to just add a few things. Whether we're trying to become more confident so we overcome the fear we have to ride our horse, or whether it's a question of us going into a show ring or horse race or a rodeo event or whatever it is that we're going to compete in, confidence is not really a necessity, but it sure makes it easier to achieve our goals if we believe that we can. That's a great place to start from. The first thing you want to do is develop the skill sets, the ability to do what it is you're attempting to do. And that's always in motion. It's always progressing. You're always going closer to or further away from that. The second thing is to monitor your thoughts in terms of what it is you're telling yourself about what it is you're trying to do. And if you're not telling yourself something that's positive, upgrade that thought. If you're not telling yourself something that you can believe, tweak the language so that you're able to believe it. And just to add another thing on that, the only way to get truly competent and in turn confident about a skill set is being able to do it in the real world, believing that you can do it, telling yourself things that you believe. And the third thing really is action, showing up. One of my mentors used to say was that a black belt is simply a white belt that keeps showing up. And so that's important. A lot of people are afraid to fail. There's no shame in coming up short and not meeting your expectations. In fact, it's a tremendous opportunity to learn something. Most of what I've learned in life, the biggest lessons that have stuck with me the longest, made the most impact, came from a failure. It came from doing something not as well as I wanted to do it. The idea that you might come up short, that you might fail, that you might knock the rail down on that jump, you might get beat in that competition, that barrel race, or you might lose the horse race. Don't let that fear stop you, because every time you make a mistake, every time you come up short, it's a golden opportunity to learn something valuable that's going to serve you going forward. If everything's handed to you on a silver plate, I mean, that's great. It makes you feel great, but you're not learning. I skied most of my life, and for a long time, I was skiing way within my bounds. I wasn't stretching myself. I was staying on the blue trails. You needed moderate ability to get down those trails. I stayed away from the more difficult trails. I didn't challenge myself. And so we used to go on a lot of family vacations. My kids would snowboard and I would ski. And for years, I could go for a week up to the mountains and ski and never fall. And okay, I'm not saying that I didn't learn anything, but my progress as a skier was pretty much staying the same. Then I went on a trip for a weekend, a long weekend with a bunch of guys, and a couple of those guys were very good skiers, and so they would lead the rundown and take really difficult trails, or they would dive bomb the mountain and just do things that were stretching you. They were basically challenging the rest of us to keep up with them. And okay, in those cases, I would fall sometimes, but the thing I noticed was that I really got better after skiing that weekend because I was pushing myself. I was stretching my boundaries. And so don't be afraid of failing. Don't be afraid of stretching your boundaries. Don't be afraid of extending your comfort zone, because it's in that gap between feeling safe and comfortable and feeling vulnerable, or like you might fall, or in a threatening position that you might not be successful. You might fall instead of maintaining your balance. That gap there is the gap. That's a wonderful opportunity to learn. And so don't deny yourself that opportunity. Do things that take you out of your comfort zone, stretch yourself a little bit, because that's the area that you're really going to make great advancements in. So again, learn what you need to learn to get some degree of mastery over the skill set that you're trying to get better at. Monitor what it is you're saying to yourself. Tell yourself truthful things. Tell yourself things that you can believe and things that will push you to go forward to becoming better. And then show up and keep showing up. And don't be afraid of failing. Don't be afraid of losing, because every time you lose, you win in learning something new It's going to serve you as the competition gets harder and the challenges increase. It's not something that you need to be fearful of. It's something that you want to embrace. It's something that you want to go after, because that's the place where you're really going to learn and stretch and really make dramatic increases in your ability to do things. Tom O'Ryan, equestrianhypnocoach.com.